Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another fantastic episode of TimberPunk 2. And welcome into the pain and suffering that is my computer running at 2 FPS. But it's fine. It's all for the entertainment. I swear. I swear it. But anyway, no, seriously, I've been having an absolute blast preparing for this episode and preparing for the absolute cleanliness, or for the most part, mostly clean area, clean workspace that we have left available to us, except for this area, which is we don't talk about that area. That's just like, it's fine. We'll get to it, okay? But we've got plenty of time to get to that while we work on all of this beautiful real estate here. And I've been slowly racking up the total amount of planks because somebody ran through all their planks in the last go, and this only took about 12 in-game days to get through this. And as you can see down here, our FPS is doing just fine while it's paused, you know, it's doing just great. But check this out. And we're at 3 times speed, and we're down to 7 FPS. So I did go back through, and I looked at a comment in my Discord here, and somebody mentioned that Zedek ran into an issue kind of similar to what I'm running into right now, and it pertained to the total number of hauling posts that he had up and running. And he turned off a couple hauling posts because he didn't feel like it was necessary, and he was meeting the demands for his colony with the amount of haulers that he just turned off the excess haulers, if you will. So I've been trying to do that, trying to make sure I don't break the system that is, just so that we can keep everything up and running appropriately, so on and so forth, right? And hoping that the FPS, you know, goes above 10, because that would be nice. But thus far, I haven't had any luck, and we'll keep on trucking on that regard. But what you guys are here is for the completion of the geothermal field, and we are going to go ahead and get that knocked out here, or at least as fast as, or try to get this knocked out. Now, of course, this is going to be a little bit painful because the game does still run at 1 FPS for the most part, but we're going to throw all these in, and hopefully with all the tubeway stations that I've planted in here through in and about the area, our bots should be able to get in here and put all these in relatively easily without too much issue, and then we'll be able to take advantage of all this power down here that we totally don't need, but it's here and we might as well take advantage of it, right? Who's gonna pass up on free Shavakadoos or free power? So I think that's all of the... Oh, we missed 2. So we're gonna go ahead and cap all these off. We're gonna let our bots come in here and have a good old time trying to, 1, tear through the rest of this over here for us so that we can actually gain access to all those, and 2, connecting all this up in some form or fashion that actually makes sense and allows us to actually take advantage of all this juice over here, because that's a lot of geothermal engines right there, and that's a lot of power that we can add to the network, and maybe that'll push us above the 40,000 mark. Now, I might have to throw in a few extra paths here and there just so that they can get to all of the geothermal fields appropriately, but that's something that we'll have to do in real time. I am happy to report, though, we did hit 10 FPS, though. That's pretty exciting. Look at that. It's so... Oh. The day to night transition, the night to day transition, seems to drop the FPS substantially too. But look at that go. We are slowly but surely tossing in all of these beautiful geothermal fields. We ate through a good 400 or 500 planks just now, but it's fine. It's all part of the plan, okay? It's all part of the plan. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself, so I can at least hopefully sleep at night a little bit less painfully than normal, but it's okay. You know? Alright, so we don't have access to that one. They can touch that one. They can touch that one. They cannot touch this one, but that one's quite simple. We just give them access with a little how you doing right there. We come over here. I really don't want to put anything right there, but I did notice, though, that you can actually do this. I didn't know that you could do that. I didn't know you could put tubeway stations back to back like this and actually get them to connect up like that, and they can go out either exit. So that is a good piece of information to find out. I also found out another piece of information, and I don't know how I'm going to release that. I did put together a little YouTube short. I don't know if or how I'm going to put that together. But I found some cool information out about the aquifer drills, the ancient ones versus the ones that the beavers build, and it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting, and I look forward to trying to edit that into a fashion or a way that is releasable and doesn't just sound like a goober tried to throw something together at the last second. Because we don't like it when I do that to myself, even though I do that to myself all the time. But that's a different story, okay? That's a different story, and we're not gonna tackle that one today, okay, all right. Anyway, we're gonna connect this up here real quick. That'll give us connection or a clearance to that one right there, or those two right there. We'll do the same over here as well, and then we'll hopefully get through here relatively quick enough so that they can actually tackle the last bit of these thorns. The problem with this area is we're looking at a relatively refined piece of real estate, so we can't get as many of our bots in here as I would like to tear all this out. Because the more, as we always go back, or I always go back to, the more points of contact the bots have or the beavers have, then the faster things can go. And that's one of my biggest gripes, honestly, about the thorns and the thorns process is only a single beaver can actually tap them at any given moment. I would love for that to be a change in the full release of this game. If that happens, that'd be awesome. But then again, not many other maps have this many thorns roaming around them at this point, so I don't think that's really too much of a concern. It's like 1 or 2 thorns every other 5,000 blocks, but Mr. Map Maker and his love for pain and suffering in all of the ways made this as painful as possible, but it's okay. It's all right. That's what we're here for. We're here to watch me suffer, as somebody lovingly said the other night. But it's okay. We're having a grand old time. We're having an absolute blast. And our beavers are as well, which is awesome. Look at that. Not a single injury. Everybody's happy. Everybody's got max enjoyment out of all of the things. Well-being is as high as it can get, without throwing in the final monument, which is the last thing that we're going to be doing today. And hopefully this project doesn't take 5.5 years to complete while we stare at all this going on here. So we're going to watch these beavers do lovely, lovely things to these thorns and hopefully gain access to this over here. But while they're doing that, we can actually start working on this over here as well. So we do have all of these geothermal engines already connected and ready to go. So we can come in here and start tearing out some of this pathing just a little bit. And we'll try to have a nice clean line to all of these. And hopefully in a way that actually allows us to gain access to them and place in the power lines, which is going to be quite the mess if I do say so myself. And sorry, I'm distracting myself yet again. If we come down here, and I learned a button, guys. I learned a button. It's the Alt scroll wheel button. It works. If we come over here, we have this one unstable core right here. I would like to circumvent this whole unstable core shenaniganry and come down here and cap this bad Johnny right here. This badwater source, not gonna be nice to us. Because if we take a little sneak peek in here and we look at this bad water source, you can see that it's well, hold up. Show blueprint. That's not what we want. Pretty sure this was supposed to show us the total amount of juice it popped off. Pretty sure it's supposed to tell us that. There it is. There it is. There it is. Yes. Yeah. So that's a strength of 20. Okay. A strength of 20. Now, for context, this bad water source that's in here was a strength of 10, and we saw how much damage and how chaotic that was in its eruption when it popped off, right? How painful that was to actually watch go and do the thing. And then, of course, how much power it just generates based off of this one singular water source, bad water source, compared to my other playthroughs where a singular bad water source produced maybe 500 horsepower per wheel, and we're looking at 1300 horsepower per wheel. Just take that and double it, and that's how much power the thing is cranking out. So I want to, I would love to actually put a power system on there, but I do not believe my computer could survive that. So I think we're going to have to just avoid doing that. And I don't know if this is really even a smart thing to be doing, because this is a lot of moving parts that we're just adding to the entity list for the computer to try to do things with. So this might be a mistake as well, but you know what? We're here for it, and we're here to watch my computer scream in agony. And I am also a fan of that as well. So you guys can join me in laughing maniacally as my computer pops off and loses its ever-loving mind. All right, so now we want to keep moving this over. Really, I'm actually contemplating coming in and ripping all this out. I don't know if we have the planks required to rip all of these out. It would make this whole power system shenaniganry a little bit easier. You know what? I think we're going to do that. Do we do that? It's really a very cool geothermal field. I kind of don't want to, because aesthetically it's gorgeous. Aesthetically, this is a very beautiful piece of real estate. It'd be a lot easier to run power lines throughout this entire system without this. We could blast down and put all the power lines under the ground and then have that running off. I don't know if that's really worth the squeeze. Aesthetically, it would be beautiful to do that too. We could just drop them too and then put all the power lines underneath and then run that all over the world. Do we want to do that? I don't know if I would care to do that. It's not going to save us well, it would not save us any time. That would take a lot of time. I think we're just going to have to pass on that. We're going to have to pass. I'm sorry, guys. Aesthetics will probably cause me more pain than I would like to have, but this we're just going to make things work right now. As you can see, the computer still is loving every second of this, right? Loving every second of this. I still need you. Don't know how we're going to make that gap work, but we'll make it work somehow. Everything's alright. Great. And that comes that way. This comes that way. That goes to there. It gets connected for free, and then you come straight across and go right into there. Nice, nice. We'll have to slowly start ripping out these two-way stations as they connect all this up. So let's go ahead and get that back up and running. Get all of our bots running like crazy, crazy timber bots as they are. Watch the FPS drop back down to 12 FPS. I'm happy that it's back up above the 10s, you know. I've been playing at 1 to 3 FPS for the past hour trying to get them to clean up all of the thorns. So this is really nice. You know, I can't complain about that. And there we go. I think we've got most of this connected already. All right. Yeah, they've already got a fair portion of that connected. I've got to give them access to this somehow over here. So that's probably grabbing this bad Johnny, ripping that down there, pausing you so you don't get stuck. Nobody got stuck there, so that's actually a miracle that that didn't happen. So that's cool. And once they get these last few pieces in, we can break this path off over here. We can actually come over here, and I think we can break this path off. That'll save us a little bit of computing power. And the same over here. Honestly, we could probably start ripping all of these tubeways out, because I feel like these are a tad bit unnecessary at this point. And we'll probably get somebody over here with a path to reclaim all that material. just because that's a lot of material that I don't want to necessarily lose right now. And we'll recoup that here pretty quickly. Rip this out. We can rip that out. Don't need that. And then do need to actually run this power up that way though. So let's go ahead and do that here. Grab you, rip you in right there, and pull you across. You should have access from there. We can go ahead and tear that out, tear this out. No need for that. I think this is kind of not necessary for now. Maybe that'll save a little bit of juice. We don't need, honestly, we don't need that connected to anything right now. We just need access to that geothermal engine because that's charging all of our bots as they're working over here. And these guys are still very slowly tearing through this. And of course, it doesn't help that I have to keep pausing it every time that I want to do anything to effectuate change in the game right now. So that's a little bit of a problem, but everything's all right. We are making progress, and that's all that matters. They are connecting these up for us, so that is a good thing to see. That's all getting connected. That's connected there, so that means that we can unpause this. Let them come in and slap that one last piece of power line in right there, and then that goes nicely. And let's come on over here, grab this power line, and we can even just... we could drop this underneath there, I guess. Why not? We'll have one or two lines, you know, go underneath, and then like that. That's gonna have to get ripped out when they're ready to go with that one, and then we do also want this to go boom right there. Okay, you guys can come throw that in real quick. We're doing better on planks now, so that's a good thing for us to see. I'm happy about that. That is a beautiful thing for us. Come on now, just throw the things in. Get everything connected. There we go. We didn't touch this, though. Do we have access to that? We do have access to this. Let's go ahead and connect this up like that and like that. They can throw those pieces in for us real quick. Over here and check on this. They got all that connected, so that is beautiful. Now what we're going to have to do is rip this out. Run this power line. Can we have this running and place a power line? Maybe? Hopefully? I'm still not Ron Burgundy, and that joke has run its course like 400,000 times over. So I apologize to anybody who's had to deal with me making that joke for the past 2.5 years or so. But, you know, it's fine. You will survive, just as these bots will survive dealing with me having to send them halfway across the world to do all these ridiculous things. Get that connected, and let's just reconnect this real quick. There we go. There we go. That can go in there. They can reach all of that. Hopefully, we'll pause this just so that they can reach all of those pieces. That'll be good. This is all getting beautifully put together here. We can probably just grab this power line, rip this in right here, and go that way, and they can reach that from that side. Then once that is in, we can come in over here, rip this path out here, and just connect to that there. That'll be nice. Oh, there's the 1 FPS. That's what we've been looking for. You gotta love the 1 FPS ticker right there. It's so beautiful, isn't it? Oh, we went up to 2, 3. We're moving again. I love to see it. All right, cool. We can unpause this. They have recouped all that material, so that's good. They can come in and throw that one piece in for us. It'll be good. That's connected there. Awesome. So now we can rip this out. And then that out. And then run this in right here. Like that. And they should be able to reach all of that, hopefully, without too much issue. That's slapped in, so that's beautiful. So we can go ahead and rip this path out right there. Yes, we want to destroy that. And give me the power shaft. Awesome. That's connected. Place it. There we go. Yep, still playing at 1 FPS. Everything's fine. Don't worry. Everything will be okay, guys. Well, you know what? Let's take a few seconds since we've got a moment. Just because I don't like all these paths hanging out around here. I know it doesn't do anything, but it makes me feel better. Cleaning a little bit of this up. It's a tad bit insane, but you know, in the definition of insanity, something, something dark side, something, something, I don't know. But I'm having a good time. That's all that really matters, and I hope you guys are enjoying the fun with me. All right, cool. Get all this cleared up there. Bada bing, bada boom. I believe that's everything connected over here, so we can rip all this out, that out. That can go away as well. I think we're connected all the way over here. That can go away. And we want to run that power line and this power line. No, that's good. So we can just connect to here and connect to there, maybe? Or we can connect this up to there and just run that there. I think that might be the easiest thing to do, honestly. Let's do that. That goes like that. And then you can come up to here. We'll branch over like such as. We'll drop this. We'll hit this button. Run that down. Destroy that piece. Rip that platform out. Throw this in right here. Pull this button down. I remember the scroll wheel's a thing still. Don't know if this is faster or slower, but you know what? We have buttons. We get to place buttons. So I like to... wish there was a quick button for that one. There might be a quick button for that one, and I'm just delirious and I don't know things. So if there is, you guys can make fun of me as usual. So that's totally fine, totally acceptable. How are we doing over here? We're doing decent. So I think we can grab this path, pull this down here, rip that path out right there, and they can continue to work their way through all of that mess. Now this is causing a bit of a problem again, that whole number of points of access. And we're down to probably 10 beavers working through there, but that's okay. It's working as advertised, all right? That's all that really matters, all right? Okay. The question is, can they reach that? Allegedly, they can. So until it tells me otherwise, we're going to assume that it can do the thing. And let's try something out here real quick. Let's zoom over here and see if we have any more hauling posts that we could pause. Or maybe even some builders' huts, because apparently some builders' huts, if they're unoccupied, then that causes some frame drops, some frame issues. Maybe? I don't know. Okay. We paused a couple extra. Means we've got 60 bots running around with nothing to do with their hands. Frame rate still abysmal, but, well, okay. It didn't help anything. It's fine. Now, the question is, did they complete the other system that I had them put in? By that, I mean, did they actually finalize the water tower? Because I would love to see that work here in this next temperate cycle. We're going to have to go over and take a sneak peek at that here in a moment. That did not get connected, so that gets to go in right there, and that connects all those pieces up for us, so that's a good thing. And the next thing we get to do is pause the game yet again. The game feels a little more responsive now, so I can't move. I can't move the game at all, but it responded to my pause button here pretty easily. Oh, I made myself sad. But it's all good. And it's all good. All right, that's all connected. That's connected there. They're still working on that over there. Now we want to run this power line to that guy right there. Grab you, pull you just straight down. We'll connect you up like that. And that should put all those connected. That's awesome. We'll have to rip this out, rip that path out, and connect this power line. Probably run that around through here and connect that into there. That'll be good. This is such a maze, and I'm amazed by it. That was a terrible joke, and I apologize to no one for it. Did forget to connect these two, so that's a simple fix right there. I think we could probably hit this from both sides, honestly. Get that all ripped out. They can hit that from both sides, and that should get connected without too much issue. That's all connected there. Education is connection, and there we go. All right. Now, it's going to take 15 years for them to rip through the rest of these. Probably the next 4 days worth of this bad tide that we still have running for us. So that is kind of sad, but it's expected at this point, and there's not much I can do about that. Because, well, duh. Stuff and things. I can't reach that probably because it's too far from district, so let's go and grab this path right here. That gives them access to that right there without any issue, and bada bing, bada boom. That gets connected in, and then we have to, like I said, rip all that out. But that shouldn't be too big of an issue. They're going in. They've got to slap in 4 pieces there, so that shouldn't take them too long, hopefully. And let's see here. We can run this power line over from here. We go up there. We click this button. Make sure we don't miss that. That goes right to there. And then we'll have to figure out a way to run this through there. You know what? We don't have to figure out how to run that through there because those things transfer power. Don't know if we need those tubeway stations here in perpetuity, but you know what? That's fine. I would love for the tubeways to actually transfer power, and someone commented that they do. I know that there's a mod out there that allows you to do that, but I don't have that mod installed. I normally play strictly vanilla Timberborn. I have done a few playthroughs with the Ember Pelts as well as the leaf coats. Those were fantastic mods, and I got to play with some of the other stuff. But normally I don't do like the ladder mod. I don't do the power mods that are out there. I try to stick strictly to the base vanilla game. I know that's boring. Vanilla can be boring, but you know what? It makes me happy. Okay, the vanilla stuff makes me happy sometimes. And that's all. You guys can infer from that what you will, okay? But it is all good. All right, so let's keep moving on into here, getting all of this cleared up. And a little bit more access back into there, and that'll continue to be that issue for me to deal with back there. That's fine. We'll have to connect this up real quick. Run this down here, connect there. Don't need that side connected though. They've got all of that access on that end. That'll be a fine. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's see. So one more thing that I'm contemplating doing here to try to alleviate some of this FPS drops, and I've tried it once already by trying to break the map up into different districts, is we can in theory completely break this apart a little bit more. The problem is if we look at how everything is connected, the only way that I could really effectuate a district crossing that works is just by having like district crossings somehow finagled into this system down here. I would love to break this apart a little bit more, because this district crossing worked out better than I anticipated. Worked out a lot better than I anticipated. Normally when I have a district set up like this, it turns into just a bottleneck for all supplies. It found that I guess 4 district crossings seems to work out just fine. And I am happy about that. And that seems to be working, but I don't know how we could break this one up. Do not know how we could break this one up. Okay. They all do feed to this back here, right? So in theory, we pulled this down. They all do feed back into here. So I could put the district crossing down here, actually. You know what? Not a bad idea. And then have another district crossing. Well, I'd have to put like 4 district crossings in this area. Again, just to allow for the food transfer into this system, because this will run out no matter what I do. There's no stopping that unless we have the four district crossings, which could be feasible. We'd have to just blast our way into here, put in another set of tubeway stations, have our district crossing back in here. That should work. Let's see here. Let's see. How do we want to do this? I think we could cut into this area. And that might do something for us. Let's do something right here. And maybe do something on the other side. Like this. That should be there, and then on this side, we want to do something similar like this. Probably that. We'll have to go one up higher, actually. Ooh. Maybe one lower. One lower might be the option there that we're going to have to go with. So that line there. So here-ish. We had a 10 by 10 there. Make sure there's no major shift. Yeah, that seems to be in the right spot, and this is going to have to do the same over here. And so I don't know if 6 by 6 is the answer here. This one seems like it should be easier to manipulate though. So let's go ahead. We'll try this one. This is a 5 by 6. I think I missed that by a little bit. All right. This out. This in there. Don't know why these are placed here. But they were placed there intentionally, apparently, because I'm dumb. There we go. Let's go ahead and toss that in. Rip this out. Bada bing, bada boom. And they can come throw all of that in for us. And that should work. Maybe, hopefully. Sorry about that. Distracted by some chaos. All right. Everything's fine. Let's go ahead and rip back into this over here. Actually, do we want to... I think we just want to cut across. Might be the easiest way to gain access to all of this, which is fine. Gonna grab that, pull that across, and this can come down here. That goes away, and we grab this. Put that in, and we might just toss in this path here. Connect that up, and that gets connected right there. And then we should be able to hopefully, you know what, we're just going to pause that one. I don't want to get any of our bots stuck. And that's all connected. That's all good. This now needs to get connected over here. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Not ripping out our geothermal field, because that's a bad idea. Or geothermal engine. Let's not do that. And rip this out there. This comes across. That gets connected in like that. Pause you. And actually, let's just rip you out. Run this path along here. And then that guy should be able to just connect up to there. And that should cover down everything else on that end. Get them tossing all of that in for us real quick. And hopefully everything gets done and done. I would love to see that. All right, so what I'm going to do here is finalize the rest of this stuff real quick. We'll bring you guys back in as things progress, and I'm going to let the little explosion science-y things go on in the background as well, and we'll pull you back in as we set up the districts and start preparing for the next big thing. So enjoy this speed-up montage. All right, that only took 5.5 years to actually get knocked out, so that's cool. Now we can come over here. They can keep working on that to their heart's content. I'm not going to be too concerned about that. That'll be something for those bots to work on, though I have a feeling that I'm going to cause a little bit of an issue for them here in 6 to 9 seconds, because I'm about to break these districts off, and we'll see if this actually causes any good things for us. And we might not want to put those in because it'll block those guys in. We don't want that now, do we? We don't want our poor little bots getting stuck somewhere, and that means we should probably pause that one just so they don't get stuck on either side again. Actually, let's pause you. Yeah, we'll pause that one. We'll unpause that one. They can come in, throw all those pieces in for us. That'll get us connected to this last geothermal engine, and that'll be a fantastic and glorious thing for us to see. Hopefully they can actually reach that and slap that, and we'll let them keep working through there as they continue to clear out some of this access point. That'll be good, and then they can continue to tear those out, or we'll just tell them it's fine and they can go home and not worry about that. They can come in and slap this last power shaft in, and that'll be a glorious thing for us. And then it's just a matter of figuring out how we want to connect all this, because that's a good chunk of juice right there. That's another 10,000 units of power for us floating around, and I am here for that. Now, I don't believe that that's going to really do much for us, in all honesty, but you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with the fact that we had a min temperate cycle here and we didn't get to actually see whether or not this works. I would like to have seen that, but it doesn't appear as though we'll be able to see that. Because this is all dependent on this system being 0.3 depth. We could come in here, block this off, turn this off for a second, and let this backfill on this area just for giggles to see how that actually works. Or we could just stop this side from filling in. Maybe we'll see a little bit because this side is going to reach that end and that should stop, hopefully, in theory, and then we get to see all the Gucci goodness coming out of that. Now, what we've got going on down here, we'll pause the game real quick just so we can pull this down and see what's happening down here. We've got 2 district crossings here, and what I was trying to get taken care of was breaking this line, because I'm going to have to rip this tubeway station out here so that we have a district on this side, we have a district up here, and we have the beaver district up in this area, and we'll have to put another pool space for them so that they can actually get their wet fur bonuses. But that is something that we can very easily accomplish. So we're going to finish this up real quick, and then we'll come back here in 69 seconds and see if this whole district crossing thing works for us. So I'll be right back. All right, that is all connected and ready to go. It's funny that they're actually taking this. I don't know how much of a shortcut that is for them, but it's something of a shortcut. So that should work in theory. Now, it's just a matter of splitting these off, and I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do that. One, I think the easiest way is to, get rid of that. There's no need for that to be connected. That's totally worthless for us. We can fit in a district center right there, or we can, you know what? What better place for a district center than on top of the Pooh Canal, you know? I feel like that's a great place for a district center to be. I'm here for it. So let's go in here. Let's grab this district center, pull this around, connect that right there. Then we come down here. We've got to break this district center. Oh, you know what? I have to get this food over here, right? Because that's where that food comes in. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. So we're gonna have to somehow snake in here and give that district access to a couple of these district crossings. I think that's how that's gonna have to work. And even the basic foodstuffs that normally go to food storage areas can come in through there, and then we'll have to have this cut through, and we'll have to put in another tubeway station right here, and that should be hopefully relatively easy so that we can feed them all the processed foods, and that should be doable in theory. All right, so I'm going to do that real quick, and hopefully that doesn't take too long. All right, be right back. All right, that is all in. That's ready to go. So that should be good, hopefully. I did do a little prep space, prep work up here in order to prepare us for a little bit of bot action just on this side of the system, because we do want to have our bots running things back and forth over here. So that should be a good idea in theory. So I don't know if this is going to work or not. Oh, let's see how this all pans out. So that needs to go away. This needs to go away. That needs to go away. We can reconnect all this just so those guys don't get lost. Okay, and then I believe what we need to do is pull this down and disconnect this line right here. pull this back up, disconnect this line right here. And then that means that we come in here and disconnect this line right here. We should have a bunch of unconnected building signs now. We do have a bunch of unconnected building signs over here. So that is anticipated. And we also want to, where do we want to fit our beautiful, you know what? This is a good spot right here. So let's go ahead and rip that out, get that out of the way. Let's throw in our district center right here. Right there. Means all that turns beautiful for us. Then we connect this district center. We need to figure out why that is still connected. Let's pull this back down. There should be no connection between those guys. Yeah, we should have broken that connection. Yet we're still connected. Why are we still connected? Probably that path right here. Now we should have a bunch more unconnected buildings. We do not. Where are we connected? Grab that. That is... yeah, it's still green pathing me everywhere. All red back here, of course. Where is this connection hiding? Okay, I'm going to spend a few seconds finding this connection, so pardon me real quick. Alright, well, I couldn't find it. I could not find it for the life of me. So I'm not entirely sure where that is all at. I will have to figure out where and what I missed at some point in the future or never, which is totally fine and acceptable, and I think we'll be fine without it. The game seems to... it's not running any much better, but it's doing its job, and that's all that really matters in the end. I've got this main district still all connected. All the beavers are over here doing beaver things. We've still got all the things down here doing stuff for us, and that means that now we get to somehow finagle our system over here. So this is my plan for this whole thing out here. And the question is, how big of a monument is this Bad Johnny? This thing is massive. So if we click that, we drop the 20,000 signs, we pause this, we need to figure this out. And so that's... so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that's 7 by 7. Now, would I be able to put this right here? I have to run power to this thing too, don't I? This requires a lot of power, huh? Doesn't say it needs power. Okay, so that's 1 by 3s. This is 1 by 3s on the other side. And so we need to also pull that out by a little bit, pull this out by a little bit. We want to put doubles in here and singles on top of here. Let's see. Hopefully this isn't too high, and it is not. Does that cover most of our beavers? It does not. It covers all their housing, which is the main desire, right? I believe that's all we really care about. So now what we need to do is come in here, grab this Bad Johnny somewhere, somehow. Maybe like a little something like this. And they should be able to reach that. And then we come out and down. Connect there, connect there. Then this pulls us all the way down through there. We connect here. Then we pull this down into here like that. This pulls us there to there. And then we rip out all of this pathing right there. Hopefully that didn't tear out any of our impermeable flooring. It does not appear as though it has, so that is good. Where's the entrance? The entrance is on the back. Okay. So we'll have to put a platform down here. And what is this? Oh, wait. Let's just burn the science there. What happened to all our science? Did I never unpause these? I did unpause those. We're burning through a lot for that, but that's okay. All right. So we also want a little bit of storage up here for all the materials that we're going to launch, right? So if we look in here, this launches, I don't recall. I think it launches sparkly planks, berries, and maybe extract. We'll see, though. But either way, we want to put this in right here. We also want to probably do something like this right here. Not that right there. We want that right here, here, in here. We want to grab this tubeway, run this all the way to there, grab this right here, pull that up twice, and then that turns into us putting this tubeway station in right there. And they should be able to build that for us real quick, hopefully. So we'll let them continue to do that. I need to figure out what these unconnected buildings are. That's everything over here that I unconnected intentionally. Don't know if that's actually going to do anything for us, but that lets all those bots that were bored go back to work. And we do need to keep an eye on everything else, because all of these guys just want to make sure we don't consume all of our food and water on this end. So they do have... If we do a little peek down here, everything is good, right? Everything is good down there for a little bit. And that should last them probably 3 whole temperate cycles or whatever have you, right? Hopefully that is a correct statement. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to put this in a nice little view right here. And we're going to watch the wonder be built before our eyes and get our bots in there and let them shoot themselves into the next area. And I look forward to seeing that and seeing our happiness shoot through the roof for all of our beavers and for everything. And I'll at some point connect all that power up over to this side, which is, like I said, an extra 10 grand.
And traps away, but our dams will grow. Minimal streams, yeah, we're fighting the drought. Beavers unite, hear the iron bots shout. Yay! We core the land with balls of steel, right through endless cycles, day turning to night. More now grow, frostbound shadows, but we're beaver strong. Can break. Dynamite massacring our soul. High, high. 12 on even days we held the line. 20 student beavers born to shine.
I'm happy that we survived TimberPunk 2. We not only survived, we actually thrived in a glorious, glorious fashion. We told Mr. Mapmaker what, how, and what for, and we made something glorious out of this. We have beavers happy, we have a cajillion iron bots roaming about the cabin and having a wonderful time doing all of the menial tasks for our beautiful beavers. my good friends, is a fantastic, fantastic way to go about ending this series. I hope you all have enjoyed this episode, enjoyed this series with me, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you all for being here, and I don't know what more to say. Other than, wherever you're in the world, stay nice and thirsty, nice and moist, nice and fantastic. Keep being you and keep rocking the fur world. We appreciate you all. I appreciate you all. We'll catch you all in the next episode of... I still don't know what to do with my hands. I'm out. See ya.